Yeah, I'm not sacrificing no bench role, so that's out the question. I think for me, my focus would be on kind of figuring out what I want out of the rest of my career, what I want in my future, what am I willing to accept, and if I'm willing to accept that at all. I think everybody knows that I've sacrificed kind of damn near everything. Family, moving here by myself, sacrifice my game for the sake of the team, and was willing to sacrifice any and everything in order for this situation to work out.
That is Carmelo Anthony speaking on his exit interview with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Welcome into TYT Sports on this Monday, everybody. Glad you're with us. So that was Carmelo Anthony. And he was saying basically, I know what I want for myself. Now, this is not necessarily troubling. It's more so less surprising because Carmelo Anthony accepting a bench role, well, he was actually asked about this prior to the season, and he gave somewhat of the same answer. Take a look.
And the second question is...
Who, me?
Oh. I guess that answers that part.
I mean, I don't know where that started, where that came from. Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, well, how do you... I guess the bench question is not a...
You can laugh it off now, but the funny thing is, as NBA fans, if you are not a supporter of Carmelo Anthony, you are getting the last laugh. The Oklahoma City Thunder are not laughing right now because, according to the numbers, Carmelo Anthony is set to make $28 million in the final year of his contract. He can opt out with an early termination clause, which will absolutely not happen, and join another team or potentially just call it a career. Again, will not happen. Now that the Thunder have been eliminated, he'll take time to mull his options. Sure. You know what's not going to happen? He's not going to opt out of $28 million fully guaranteed, and he's already said he's not going to come off the bench. So now you have a conundrum of a team where Carmelo Anthony this past season, as the numbers do say, this past regular season, put up the worst statistical numbers of his career in these categories: points per game, assists per game, 2-pointers made, 2-pointers attempted, free throw attempts, and free throws made. In the playoffs, he also had some of the worst numbers of his career, most notably with his points hovering around 11 per game. Yet he still says, I think the player that they wanted me to be and needed me to be was for the sake of this season. As far as being effective as that type of player, I don't think I can be effective as that type of player. I think I was willing to accept the challenge, but I think I bring a little bit more to the game as far as being more knowledgeable. That has nothing to do with it. And what I still can do as a basketball player. Now, Carmelo Anthony has said that he will not come off the bench. And actually, if we can show that one more time, what was so troubling from that last quote is that he knew that he wanted to be, that he was asked to be a stretch four. He just couldn't do it. This is the kind of guy who needs to operate in heavy isolation, take the air out of the basketball, and hopefully he could put up 30, and if he doesn't, he's going to put up 10, or even in the playoffs, he's going to put up 11. What he needs to do is realize that it's not a terrible thing to accept a bench role. You want to know who did it? Some guy named Jason Terry, when the Dallas Mavericks when they beat out the Miami Heat, and the king wasn't necessarily on his throne yet. He took a bench role, and you know what he did in the clinching game? Well, he actually played pretty well. Double-digit scoring. They asked him to do it, and he did it. You know who's another guy? Manu Ginobili, when the Spurs beat the Miami Heat as well, putting up 19 points when they went on to win, obliterate rather, the Miami Heat. And then, well, yeah, they won, and they got to go say what up to President Obama. Another guy who came off the bench as a sixth man and was great, some guy named Bill Walton. I remember my days at Berkeley. And then what else happened on top of that? They won the championship. There's Larry Bird. There's Bill Walton. Hey, this actually isn't a bad gig if you think about it. Jamal Crawford, drafted by my Chicago Bulls. Look at Kirk Heinrich. My God. And look at those jerseys. The hair is incredible and the jerseys are even better. So Jamal Crawford was asked to be the star. And then he's like, no, it's cool. I'll come off the bench. And then he gets 3 Sixth Man of the Year awards. Do you follow me? Tony Kukoc was asked to come off the bench. He had 16 points in one of the most notable games that the Bulls had in their playoff run. And he had a great time because guess what? He got to win championship after championship. Hall of Fame coach Rick Carlisle said the mental approach and the enthusiasm which you attack that job goes a long way. Plus you have to have the ability. Yet I asked all of you, what should Oklahoma City do? Put this out on Twitter. What should Oklahoma City do with Carmelo Anthony in your opinion? What do you believe is the right thing to do? Here's what you guys said. Connor tweeted, trade him to a team trying to tank? Only use I can see him having these days. Rough, because you're talking about a Hall of Fame player, no doubt going to be inducted soon. And on top of that, I still think he is useful. The problem is, he thinks he's more useful than he is. This always happens in sports, guys. We see this every single year, where you have a player that is the creme de la creme, and then age catches up to them, and father time catches up to them. And then they're at the mental crossroads of being the 1A. And then suddenly they're the 3 or the 4 or the 5. And when you are training your body from, let's just say 4 to, what is Carmelo Anthony now, in his 30s, 32 years old? That is something that is mental warfare for all athletes. You are the best. You are the go-to option. You are the guy who gets the ball in his hands, 5 seconds left, you take the game winner. And then suddenly you take a back seat. Suddenly you're replaced by a guy who's 24 years old, still haven't reached his peak, but Jeremy Grant, because he's putting up better numbers and better playing time than you are. Do you understand what this is doing to Carmelo Anthony? Now we can sit back and say, oh, well, he just needs to realize that he sucks and he's not good anymore. I still think he has something. He just needs to accept the lesser role. And then he's going to be successful. Part of the problem is identifying that you have a problem. We have identified Carmelo Anthony's problem. Everyone's telling him it. He continues to push away. There are a few others that tweeted in. Jose tweeted, pray he doesn't opt in, which he will. If that doesn't work, try to trade him for anything. And if that doesn't work, just buy him out. There's no purpose. Lastly, Victor tweeted, send him to Dancing with the Stars because his basketball career is over. Too harsh? I mean, yeah, definitely too harsh. His career is not over. What he needs to do is understand that this is not prime Carmelo Anthony anymore. It is not prime Denver Nuggets Carmelo Anthony anymore. It is the 7th man in the system and the rotation, Carmelo Anthony.